It was one of those rare moments that stopped people in their tracks. No speeches, no staged photo ops, no press conference, just two sleek, blacked-out vehicles gliding quietly through the gates of Clarence House. First came King Charles. And just a heartbeat later, Prince Harry. That was it. No grand show, no official word. But beneath that simple entrance was a storm of history, tension, and years of silence finally breaking. This wasn't just a casual father-son reunion over tea. It was the first time Charles and Harry had come face-to-face in more than 18 months. The last time was back in February 2024, right after Charles's cancer diagnosis. Since then? Nothing. No Christmas gatherings. No royal events side by side. Just distance, headlines, and speculation. Now, out of nowhere, Harry is back in London. He arrived on September 8, officially to attend the Well Child Awards and a couple of charity events. But the whispers began instantly: would he try to see his father? And perhaps the bigger question, would Charles even say yes? The answer turned out to be yes, and fast. At around 5:20 p.m. local time, Harry's car rolled into Clarence House. At first, it barely registered. But once the footage started spreading, social media erupted. Suddenly, the question wasn't if they met, it was whether this was the first crack in years of frozen silence. Could this be the start of reconciliation? To understand the weight of that, you have to rewind. Back to 2020, when Harry and Meghan walked away from royal duties. Since then, the drama hasn't slowed for a single second. The explosive Oprah interview. The Spotify deal. The Netflix docuseries. And, of course, Spare, Harry's memoir that ripped the lid off family secrets. Every move seemed to widen the divide. Allegations flew. Public statements stung. Media wars kept the rift front and center. This wasn't just awkwardness anymore. It was open conflict. So, the fact that King Charles made space for this meeting while still undergoing cancer treatment, that alone says something. It says this wasn't just a polite gesture. It was deliberate. Intentional. But let's not romanticize it. Reports suggest the meeting lasted about 30 minutes. That's not a heart-to-heart. That's a temperature check. Maybe even one last test. And what's just as important is who wasn't there. Prince William. The one person you'd expect to want a seat at the table, stayed away. No sign of joining, no public words of support, nothing at all. And that silence speaks volumes. Because the royal family isn't just about family. It's about image, protocol, and centuries of carefully protected order. And Harry broke that order, publicly, loudly, and permanently. So even if Charles is willing to still, here we are. The cars arrived, the palace kept silent, and cameras zoomed in on every twitch, every glance. Did Charles lean forward? Did Harry look tense? Every micro-expression became a headline. Because this wasn't just a meeting, it was history attempting to rewrite itself, awkwardly, one half-sentence at a time. There were no smiling portraits, no official updates. Just a private 30-minute sit-down that could either plant a seed of healing, or bury things for good. Charles wasn't just playing the role of king that day, he was a father caught between heartbreak, legacy, and his own mortality. Cancer has a way of changing people, sometimes softening them, sometimes hardening them. In Charles's case, it seems to have done both. Insiders say he's been reflecting heavily on family and time. Perhaps that's what pushed him to open the door, if only a crack. But make no mistake, this was not a tearful embrace. It was structured. Planned. Brief. Every detail calculated. No agenda leaked. No inside source bragging about forgiveness, just two men in a room, divided by years of silence, hurt, and headlines, testing whether anything is left to salvage. Harry came alone this time. No Meghan, no children, no entourage. His solo arrival under the radar felt almost symbolic. For someone who once described royal life as suffocating, stepping back into it must have felt like entering enemy territory. Yet, he did it, and that alone turned heads. And it didn't go unnoticed that William was only a few miles away, yet made no effort to see his brother. The brothers haven't spoken in months. The rift, by all accounts, is deeper than ever. Some royal watchers believe the meeting was a test for both men. Could Harry sit down privately and not run to the media after? Could Charles trust him enough to keep the conversation sacred? And from Harry's side, was this genuine, or just optics? Every second before and after was picked apart by the public. Harry's unreadable expression on arrival. Charles's calm but distant demeanor. No waves, no smiles, just tension stitched into every frame. And yet, even if the meeting was cold, it still mattered. For years, reports claimed Charles refused to even answer Harry's calls. Now, the door opened. That counts. Maybe not much, but something. The big question now is, what happens next? Was this a new beginning, or a last courtesy? So far, neither side has said a word. The palace remains silent. Harry's circle hasn't whispered a thing. And in a world where almost every royal move is carefully spun for the press, that silence is louder than any statement. For Harry, the road back is complicated. He hasn't just distanced himself, he's challenged the monarchy itself. Exposing secrets, questioning its role, painting it in unflattering ways. That's not something the family easily forgives. And yet, he still shows up. He still takes the chance. Which begs the question, does Harry truly want back in, or does he just want closure? For Charles, the stakes are different. His health has slowed him down. His reign is shorter than most. Legacy matters more now. Does he really want to spend precious energy refereeing family drama, or is this his way of closing one final chapter with his son? William, though, seems unmoved. Reports say he stayed close by during the meeting but made no effort to bridge the gap. For him, the damage runs deeper than just family betrayal. It's about the crown itself. In his eyes, Harry didn't just step away, he cashed out on the fallout. That kind of wound is hard to forgive. And still, beneath all the drama, the core is painfully simple. A father, 2 sons, and years of pain. Strip away the titles, and it's just a broken family trying to navigate pride, resentment, and love with the world watching every step. The real test now is Harry's next move. If he leaks details, even subtly, this will be written off as nothing but a stunt. But if, for once, he stays completely silent, it might prove he's changed. That he's willing to protect what little trust is left. And that could matter more than any speech or interview. There are no winners here. Just a family tangled in decades of expectation, duty, and disappointment. Charles is fighting illness. William is safeguarding the monarchy's future. And Harry sits awkwardly in between, too royal to ignore, but no longer royal enough to trust. In the end, there were no photos. No hugs. No smiling exit. Just a Range Rover pulling away, leaving the world to wonder what was said inside those walls. Maybe it was a step forward. Maybe it was the end of the road. But in a family where silence has become a weapon, even 30 minutes of conversation feels extraordinary. Whether this moment sparks healing, or just adds another page to the never-ending royal saga, only time will tell, but one thing is clear. This was never just about Charles and Harry. This was about the future of the monarchy itself, and whether it still has room for forgiveness.